Okay, in this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to fix your physique weak points. Alright, so there's a lot of areas in your physique where it might just be lacking, right? You might have really strong arms, but you might have like a really weak chest, for example. You might have a really strong chest, but you might have like a really weak back. Alright, so this is everyone knows basically what their physique weak points are, and whenever you're training in the gym for a while, you would know that you probably have some physique weak points. Whenever you take a picture or whenever you look in the mirror, you can like visibly see, okay, this is the weakest muscle. Like you know your physique weak points, especially if you've been in the gym for a while. All right. So I just got done making a video last week that I posted last week about just train how you want. So basically, what that was talking about was just train how you want for like the first 2 years, build the foundation, and then fix the weak points later on. This video is going to go more in depth on how to actually fix these weak points so you can manage to build a better physique. All right, because now we have to take the approach of, all right, well now we want to fix these weak points instead of building the foundation. So this training is not going to be as fun, but it will still be fun just seeing the results coming in. So this was me like 4 months ago, right? And this is me like 2 weeks ago when I took this picture. So basically, I was working on my chest a lot these last few months, and it's not like crazy results, but it definitely is an improvement. So as you can see here, it lacks a lot of fullness around this area, and as you can see here, it kind of just like got a lot bigger, as you can see here. So basically, I'm gonna be just giving you guys the blueprint that I was using. All right, and I'm still doing this because I don't think I'm where I want to be at yet, but it's definitely a big improvement. It's not like some crazy insecurity you get whenever you take your shirt off. All right, you have a way bigger muscle right there. All right, so now basically what to do is whenever you finally upgrade this weak point muscle, you want to go and start upgrading the next weak point muscle. That's what's going to get you the better physique long term. So this is how we're going to do it. So basically, you can hit the weak point first. So what this means is as soon as you hop in the session, focus on this specific weak point off the rip. All right. The reason why is because you start with a lot of energy, and whenever you start with a lot of energy, you can dedicate a lot more, energy to the workout itself. It's going to be able to help you get an extra rep in. It's going to help you put some extra weight on there because you're completely fresh. So you're going to be able to, put a lot more power into it versus if you do it at the end of your workout, you're going to be all fatigued from the other workouts. It's going to be a lot more harder to push the max stimulus for this specific workout because, all the other muscles are fatigued. So you're not going to be growing as much in this area if you're not putting full energy into it. So basically, there's some certain ways you can do this. Like I said right here, is only do this depending on the muscle. And this is hitting the weak point first. Only do this depending on the muscle. If it's like an arm muscle, like biceps, forearms, shoulders could be a maybe, but triceps. If it's one of those type of muscles, I recommend you don't hit it first, and instead I recommend you just dedicate a whole day to this weak point. But if it's like a big muscle, like the chest, the back, or like the shoulders, then you can do it as soon as the workout starts, right? The first workout you want to do. The reason why you don't want to hit the arms like first is because whenever you're doing like a compound movement, for example, it's going to take a lot from your arms, your chest, and your shoulders. So your arms are already getting hit. So it really just depends on what your weak point is. If it's an arm workout, I recommend you just dedicate another day. So for example, this is what it would look like. You do your normal workout Monday, you do your second normal workout like Wednesday, and then you do like a dedicated arm workout on Friday. And that's what you can do. So hit the weak point first because that's whenever you're going to have the most stimulus. And like I said, only do this depending on what muscle it is. If not, dedicate a whole day to this weak point. All right. Next, we're going to be focusing on getting 20 sets for this weak point daily. All right, we want to get 20 sets for this weak point muscles weekly. Just said that completely wrong. All right. But as you can see here, this is Jeff C right here at like 17. His biggest weak point was like his chest. And now this is his chest right now. Or not right now, but this is like his chest a few years later in his prime. And as you can see, it's a big difference from just like the fullness of the chest. And basically what he did to do this was he was just hitting chest a lot more, right? There's just something that happens whenever you focus on a weak point a lot more. Like, so for example, if you're doing 20 sets a week, you're going to get a lot more blood flow coming in. The pumps are going to look crazier. and the muscle is going to grow a little bit. It's not going to grow like a crazy amount, but just the amount of blood flow that's going in there that makes the pump look better. Whenever you have the nice pump, it just makes the chest look way better throughout the week. And it looks like it's a lot bigger than it actually is. And then over time, when you do this, the muscle is genuinely just going to grow a lot bigger. And that's what happened with Jeff Seed right here. This is a really weak chest, and what he was doing, he was just doing a lot of volume on the chest. So he was hitting 20 sets. I don't know if it was 20 sets, but he was hitting a lot of sets weekly. All right, and you don't have to be some scientific lifter with this. You just need to hit the chest a lot. Literally, just hit the chest a lot, and you're gonna get there. All right. Basically, what you can do is you can do your normal chest workouts, for example, and then you can like do some crazy supersets with the chest. I know it's not optimal, but it will work if you're trying to promote the amount of blood flow in the chest and make it look as big as possible. All right. So what you can do is a lot of supersets, like I said. So you can have a full day dedicated just to chest. You can do some crazy supersets that day, and make sure you're getting 20 sets weekly. So basically, let's say you go and hit chest 3 times a week, then you would need to get around like 6 to 7 sets weekly. I mean daily. 6 to 7 sets daily. All right. If you do that, you will get 20 sets for the weak point muscle, and you're gonna see big growth in the next few months if you just do this consistently. All right. Now, before we get to the next part, I just want to go ahead and plug my program right here. This is my program, the Batcave. This is basically telling you guys how I grew from 135 pounds to 155 pounds in the span of like 6 months. All right, I was bulking. I did like a proper bulk, a proper lean bulk, and I was putting on a lot of muscle very fast. And I'm gonna teach you how I did that here. All right, in this first picture, I was already training for 2 years. In this second picture, I was training for like 2.5 years. All right. So this was a 6 month difference. If you want to learn, join. I have a lot more stuff coming in the future, so stay tuned for that. And also, if you join, I'll analyze your physique and give you a personalized plan. So basically, this is just a really good deal. And yeah, come join. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is finding the best techniques for your workouts. So, what do I mean by finding the best techniques? So, you want to find the best workout. You want to figure out how you can get the stretch properly. So, let's say we're trying to fix our back, right? Whenever you're fixing your back, you need to like really know that mind muscle connection whenever you're working out your back. Because if you don't know the mind muscle connection, it's not going to grow in certain areas. So, for example, let's say you're really trying to grow your lats, right? You need to know how to feel your lats in the workout, because a lot of people just do these workouts without feeling their lats. Now, sometimes if you're a beginner, you don't really have that much lats and you can't really feel the lats because it's just not really there. But whenever you're more into the gym space and you like start growing a lot more, you should be able to feel your lats. And if you still can't feel your lats, then that's a problem. All right. So what you can do is you can find some stretches that can help you feel the mind muscle connection perfectly. So there's a lot of stretches out there. One that I like to do is I like to do this, and I like to just kind of just feel it all the way, and it feels really good. Then I just start doing some pull-ups after, and I really feel the lats. And that's how you really grow your lats or any muscle. All right, you can use this for multiple muscles, but the one that I recommend you find the mind muscle connection for the most is the lats, because the lats are like the hardest to grow if you don't know the mind muscle connection. So unless you have really good lat genetics, and that's a completely different story. But you can do this with any workout. If you're really trying to grow your chest, you can still do the mind muscle connection. You can really feel the upper chest is getting stretched and hit, and that's how it's going to really grow. You get that blood flow coming in. All right. And you also want to properly progressively overload on this. So you want to find the best form, right? So properly progressive overload, keyword properly. All right. So basically what you want to do is you just want to try getting better form every single workout. Record your sets if you have to. Make sure your form is really good, like the perfect. Make sure you feel the mind muscle connection each workout, and just try to find the most optimizing workouts for each one. All right, of course, if you want to do whatever workout you enjoy doing the most, like I said, do that instead. But if you're really trying to grow, do the most optimized, science-based workout that's out there. All right, because this is people who have already been consistent in the gym. You already built the habit to go to the gym all the time. All right, and if you're really trying to fix your weak points, you got to take some of these steps. Now, like I said, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But if you're really trying to optimize your weak points, this is how you're going to do it. All right. So now the final slide of this video is going to be this program. All right, so I have a normal program and I have a weak point focus week, just to give you what a proper weak point focus program would look like. All right. So a normal program, let's say this is your first 2 years of the gym, you've been doing this. So a normal program, you've been going to the gym twice a week. You've been hitting bench press, then you hit pec deck, shoulder press, lateral raises, and tricep extensions. You just did this. This is like 2 push days in a week. So you do push pull legs, push pull legs. Let's just say that, right? So this is what you do, and on your push day, you do bench press, pec deck, shoulder press, lateral raises, tricep extensions. You hit all the push muscles, right? And let's see, you're getting 6 sets. No, you're getting 12 sets of chest a week. That's not that bad actually. It's not terrible, but 20 is going to be where you see a lot more results. And now we're gonna say, so now we got weak point focus 3 times a week. So now, an example. This isn't the most optimized chest workouts either. This is just an example, right? And now a weak point focus week will look like for chest will look like bench press 3 times a session, pec deck 3 times a session, chest press, shoulder press, lateral raises, and tricep extensions. But we don't care about these. We're going to count the chest sets, and this is about 7 right here. And that's 7, 14, 21. And you're going 3 times a week too. So now you're up in the volume. Instead of going twice a week, you're going 3 times a week. And your chest is going to grow a lot more. Now, of course, you don't have to add this shoulder press, lateral raise, tricep extension stuff. This is more for just, the push day itself. But let's say you do push, and then you do like chest later on in the week because you really want to optimize your chest growth. You just basically do all the chest workouts. Or you can just have a dedicated weak point day. So, for example, if you're really lacking like on your chest and your lats, then you just hit those muscles on that day. And you really try to get that 20 set mark. That's how you're going to promote blood flow, and it's going to look a lot better, and you're going to get a lot more gains. All right. So if you found this video valuable, drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. And what else? Comment down below what your weak point is and what you are going to do to fix it. All right. And if you enjoyed the video, like I said, drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. I hope you enjoy. Go fix that weak point.